Well, good morning, and this is your Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. This morning, we're going to look at Twitch first steps. My name is Longwell, and in my coaching and consulting work, I help solopreneurs stay focused and motivated as we take their business to the next level with some simple structures and some pretty easy technology. So we'll be back right after this. So here we are, finally. Greetings wherever you are, and welcome to Being Your Own CEO. This is a weekly success circle intended as a support for solopreneurs. We get together because we enjoy each other's company, and we like exchanging information, and we seem to be doing a lot of experimenting these days. We all give and receive support. And you can discover what we stand for by reviewing our operating principles on this event page. I want to welcome our viewers and invite them to check in by telling us what they do in the comment section right over to the right. And now it's time for the members in the green room to introduce themselves. So again, Tim, I'm going to ask you to begin because we're going to be talking quite a bit later. So that would work.
Good morning, Lowland and everyone this morning. My name is Tim Longwell with Longwell Art Studios, where we help reignite your creativity and improve your health and happiness. And we also stream live on Twitch, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Right on. So perfect. Thank you in advance. Bill, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Bill Graham. My website is billdoesbelize.com, where I share unbiased information, or what I refer to as the unbelievable truth, to help folks that are thinking about making a permanent move to Belize get the information they need. That's really hard to find online.
The unbelievable truth, yes. So thanks, Bill. And are you on the VCP page this morning?
Yes, I am. I'll be watching for the comments out there. So yeah, anybody who's out there, please check in, let us know you're there, and leave your comments, ask questions of Tim. That's why he's here today, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Right on. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for wrangling. So how about you, Vivek? Nice to see you again.
Namaste. My name is
Namaste.
Vivek. And Vivek Technology is my website. I think you can see my logo behind me, which is a virtual background. I am in the United Kingdom, England, and I try to simplify the technology for you. That's what I do. Simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. So that's one of my core beliefs.
And I have to give you a big vote of thanks for all the feedback that you provided for me as I was moving my website from one server to another. That was quite an experience. So it was very helpful to have somebody checking and giving me feedback on the outside. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Let's see who else is here. Well, Gina, I see you're here.
Good morning, everyone. Gina Donaldson, Personal Passage Planning, helping people know their way so that they can be prepared and respond effectively to both planned and unplanned life events.
Right on. And thanks for that great site that you sent me this week. That was, we've been talking about aging. And she sent me Jane Fonda's TED Talk on that very topic, so it was quite good. So I posted it to my Engage Aging collection. So if you're interested, you'll find it there. So thanks and welcome here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Fred, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Lowell, and welcome to everybody in Lowell and Land, which is same place I live, which is in Victoria, or I'm actually near Jay. I'm near Costco in Langford at the moment. Dog sitting, and here he is. There's this cute dog again. Hey, Rupert, say hello to everybody in Lowell and Land.
As we say on Twitch, it is now a puppy stream.
I work with young people in ourfutureleaders.ca. I'm getting excited about, I've got a pilot group that I'm working with of homeschoolers. And some of the parents seem to really resonate with what we're trying to do. So it's very, very early days, but getting exciting. And I'm getting the feedback that it is something that young people really need, is being able to communicate, work as a group. And I really appreciate being in this group because I learn a lot of what we do. I can see the young people getting, you get to know each other even though you've never met each other face to face. So it's really helpful to be here. So I appreciate everything that you do.
Well, thank you. Fred, are your homeschoolers mainly in Victoria or on the islands?
Currently in Victoria, but I do have a couple potential. Actually, I had a fellow phone me from Kamloops yesterday. He said his grandson probably would be interested, but he's going to talk to his daughter, which is the grandson's mother, and see. Yes. So we discussed it, and we'll. And I normally have a discussion with them, see why are they interested, and often it just, once we start talking, they say, wow, yeah, I am very interested in my son or daughter getting involved. It's very early days, but the signs when you start talking to the parents is very positive.
Oh, right on. The reason I asked is my walking partner spent the weekend on Pender with a family that has lived there for a long time, and they have homeschooled. Their kids are older now, going to high school, but it seems that a lot of the families living on the islands, a lot of them are into homeschooling. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. So welcome here. Glad you are continuing to learn something. So that's the main purpose here, isn't it? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Jay, you're right beside Fred in my little ribbon here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. You guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Hello, my name is Jay. My company is Magi Studios, and we help people get started in the world of online marketing through coach, consulting, and training. Hailing from Victoria, the better known part of Victoria called Langford, which is, I guess you can call it a suburb. It's the ever-growing, more popular area of Victoria. So that's right. Actually, you got to do it sideways to be more gang-like. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. That is probably the coolest that you'll ever be, Bill.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, hailing from West Side. Yeah, otherwise known as the West Shore. So I'm happy to be here and happy to be listening in on whatever we're talking about today. So I think it's Twitch, right?
Yes, it's Twitch.
All right, cool. I did some Twitch streaming last night. So
did you? All right,
yeah.
On. So you'll have
Although
something.
it wasn't painting, it was gaming. So
Oh.
I was having a little fun with Twitch. So yeah, I was playing video games last night.
Oh, right on.
Streaming live. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't stream very often, so there's no intent. It's just to try it out and have a little fun with it. So yeah, I had 4 viewers.
Right on. So let's
Celebrity
talk some...
before you know it.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'm actually a little afraid to let people know inside the place where I teach Wealthy Affiliate that I stream on Twitch, because then it would just get a little crazy. So because they have a user base of 1.3 million users, so I'd hate for any of that to trickle over. Then I'd get camera shy. So I'm pretty camera shy. So.
Right. Well, we're glad you made it here this morning, and we'll talk a little bit more about our experiences there. Heidi, you're in Italy this morning. Has it warmed up any?
Yeah, it has warmed up, but it's raining constantly. This year is a no year somehow. But, spring is come, the mimosas are gone, the daffodils come out.
Crocuses.
What did you say?
Crocuses are out.
Crocuses are out,
yes.
And many other things. It will be 2-3 weeks, and then everything is out, and then other 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then we are in hot summers. That's normal.
And it was
Anyway,
last week you were talking about freezing pipes.
Yeah, last week it was horrible. Then all the gas heater was broken, is still broken, and the water went all away. We didn't have water. We had an interesting week, let's say.
Well, I might tell you and just show, as I did others last evening,
Yeah.
this is daffodil season in Victoria, and the cherry blossoms are beginning to come out.
We have that too, but the snow and the rain has pushed them down on the earth, so I didn't collect them. Next time I will have a bunch of them here, because they first have to come back.
Yeah,
so I
true.
wanted to tell you that I'm now working on my live in-person project, which is Paradiso Integrale, the house which we are living. And this is a website. I hope you can see it.
Yes, we can.
And this is now redone by a friend of mine who is staying here. And you should go and see how much a person who has some artistic ideas, how much they can improve whatever I do, let's say. Maybe not you, I don't know. It's, before I made a website, I know how to do it, but now go there and see it has a different look. And that will be hopefully also be done for the Wisdom Factory, where I have my online appearance, mine and Mark's, where we do the live broadcasts, and presently with the conscious aging series. And I'm interesting. I will post this article you are talking about in our Facebook group, Masterminding Integral Aging. You're all invited up from a certain age on, I would say from 45 on to participate. This is ages, not when we talk about years, but I do it anyway. So yeah.
So
Next Thursday we will have a show about gero transcendence. As far as I have understood, it is that when we get older, that we are more likely to go into spiritual ideas and spiritual experiences, and so we will have a panel discussion of several people. So I invite you to look out what that is.
I will. But unfortunately, I cannot attend on Thursdays, so I always get to watch Heidi and Mark's show sometime on the weekend. So
yeah, and I'm very happy that you do. And Vivek often shows up, and Gina often shows up. I'm very happy about that too. Thank you.
Well, and that's important for us to mention, because that's what happens when we get together on a regular basis and get to know each other in a forum like this. Then other good things begin to happen. So that's great. So I'm checking to make sure I've got everybody. Did I get everybody? I think I did. So this morning we were going to talk about Twitch first steps, because last week Tim gave us just a kind of a basic tour around the site, etc. And I remember leaving the conversation last week saying, well, I just know I've got to go in there and do some lurking. So that's what I did last evening. I went in and lurked. So unlike Jay, who just dove in and did a live stream, I'm going to lurk for a while. So
I just pushed the wrong button. So it's just next thing I know, I was live. So I was like, all right. Well, I guess I'll stream.
Well, I have to say I've never played a video game in my life. So I mean, the most that I do is things like Sudoku and solitaire, and that's about as far as I've ever gotten. Anyway, I have to share though that I did go in and try to watch a game, and there were two people in the same room, obviously on two different computers, and they were getting up and going in and switching places and doing whatever. And I was watching all the comments, and I mean, there were thousands watching this thing. And I could make head nor tails of what on earth that game, what the object of the game was, or anything else. So I left there, and then I watched a gentleman painting a portrait, and the process he was using was kind of layering quite thick paint, one layer over another, etc. And there seemed to be quite a few people in there kind of making comments about his technique and asking questions, etc. So I thought that was very interesting. Watching somebody paint, it strikes me that you have to be really interested in painting. Otherwise, it's a very slow process, let's say. But they were in the comment stream. It was quite a fairly active comment stream. I got the sense that they were all waiting for something, some kind of a something happening, and all the terminology didn't mean a whole lot. But once he finished that portrait, and he was going to sign the portrait, and then he ate some soup while in between talking to everybody, and talked about how great it was to have this certain kind of soup. That it was good to keep your energy up if you were going to stay for hours on end online. So I got the impression that he'd been there for quite a while. But then he moved on to working on a still life. And it was some of the comments about and the questions that he was getting, I thought were quite interesting about that. How to paint a glass vessel, for example, and so forth. So that was kind of interesting, but it didn't seem to be moving along fast enough for me. So then I moved on to a cooking show, and it was a young man just working in his kitchen, and I have a feeling maybe his wife or partner was off on the side doing some of the techniques, because and he seemed to have more than one camera, and so, but obviously this chap was not a chef. He wasn't a professional chef or whatever. So he had a cooking challenge on there that kind of failed, and we all sort of giggled about it and so forth. So that one I felt as though I could participate in, because I know my way around a kitchen. So I guess that's a lesson learned for me, was to maybe begin in a world that you know a little something about, rather than going to something that you know nothing about, like games. So I have to say, I mean, the hours went by. There it was, whatever time it was, I quit. And I thought, it was kind of fun to just be in this guy's kitchen for a while. And there were all kinds of really humorous comments in the stream. So, but I did try looking at more of that in real life. I got a sense there was a little bit of sexual stuff out there somewhere, porn or something. I wasn't terribly interested in going in that direction. So, yeah, it seems as though there's a huge variety of things to, well, let's talk about rabbit holes, eh? Loads and loads of rabbit holes. So, this morning, Tim, you were, before we went live, you were talking about one particular place that some people would find interesting. Would you like to begin and tell us about that before we kind of move to our main topic?
Okay. Excuse me. A little frog or something this morning giving me problems. Maybe it's allergies. It is spring here already. It's southeastern Oklahoma. So, But anyways, yeah, I was recommending that to better understand and ease your way into creative, there's the Bob Ross company that they actually have a channel. If you type in Bob Ross in the search bar at top of your Twitch, and he actually streams probably about 16, 18 hours a day of all his seasons that he did on PBS.
Wow.
And you want to see a comment stream that's full and blazes away with a lot of questions and talk and everything like that. That's one to go to. There's also, there's a body paint artist that she actually paints herself as cosplay and comic characters on Saturday evenings, and through the week she works up. So, but on Saturday you get to see her actually apply the paint to herself so that when she's done, she looks like this cosplay or comic character. And that's Kay Pike Fashions.
K-A-Y?
Yes. Or fashions or designs? Hang on a second. Let me.
Tim, maybe you want to let people know what cosplay is. Everyone might know what that is.
Yeah, cosplay it's kind of like role playing, only you dress as a person or favorite character, whether it be, like in my case, I've always been a Klingon from Next Generation. So I have the full Klingon regalia complete with the fall leather armor that they wear. And others are like anime characters and different things like this. And there are big conventions that they actually go to and wear these costumes and interact and hang
Wow.
out with and everything. And some of them are topical and specific to where you come as that particular environment, and others are open where you just come as whatever you like. So, and that's what cosplay is. And the best way to, like I said, the easiest way to kind of dip your toe in the water for that is to watch her paint. She literally puts the paint on her body.
Wow. Well, now there was another one that I went in real life. There was one that said, "Ask me anything." So I thought, oh, I wonder what that's about. So I went, and there was an empty chair. And you could see the room and an empty chair, and there were all kinds of people watching and all kinds of comments about, I wonder where she is, where did she go, and speculation about where she was. And so I kind of got bored with that one too.
Yeah, and I was right. It is K Pike Fashion, all one word.
Oh, okay.
And you'll recognize the logo because the logo beside it is, you'll see one side is green, where part of one of the characters that she painted herself as, and the other side is her before she painted anything at all.
All right. Okay.
So that one's real easy to recognize. Another one to kind of dip your toes into, especially if you like anime or the animated type movies, is Devicat, Devicat.
Right.
And then there's, I could go on and on listing ones you can check out. There's one live now that makes chainmail or does what we call fiber art on Twitch, where they'll either crochet or sew or knit or different various things that you do with fibers or leatherworking. And that's Fairy Wings. She's on right now. Phare Wings.
Phare Wings. Okay.
Yeah, she's usually a morning stream though. I don't think I've seen her, but she also games as well as does these creative things. But she takes the little chainmail links that you buy at little rings and stuff. She makes bracelets, and she made her own version of a fidget spinner type thing. There's just all kinds of things that she makes, and it's kind of fun to watch. And the conversations, again, it's one of those lively areas where there's a lot of things going on, a lot of interaction, so you can kind of get a feel what the more active channels are like. But those are probably the busiest that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Okay, those are busy ones. Well, and I might say that as a newbie just going in and lurking around, I wasn't sure. I obviously felt more comfortable where there were fewer people, and I was more in a surrounding or in a milieu that I understood.
Sure.
And then I could picture myself, like that one. I felt as though I could interact in the way I would anywhere else. But what I became very much aware of is that there are certain techniques and certain processes that people were sitting around and waiting for. And I don't know whether they were contests or what they were, and I don't even remember the terminology. So obviously, if you're going to learn those processes, it's probably more likely to pick the meaning of those things up within a familiar milieu. At least that was my thinking. So So, what about everybody else in the film strip here? Has anybody else been playing or lurking around on Twitch? No. Well,
I did try and connect my Amazon Prime account and Twitch and so on, but didn't really do anything more than that. As far as gaming goes, I used to long ago. Games do have a role to play in life, I would say. One of the games I liked was one where boxes and objects of various shapes and sizes, and they fall down, and you can move them horizontally so that they cover as little space of the floor as possible. And then what happens is the ceiling starts coming down, and you have to keep the whole thing as flat as possible to gain the maximum point. That's the whole objective. That gives me, insights as to if you want to pack something onto, say, a trolley or into a box or into a suitcase or whatever. That gives you an idea how you should start packing. That's the way I see those games. And if you're unpacking something, and if your things are likely to fall, you need to make sure that this game gives you certain insights into that. That's what I would say about games. But,
well, and I guess that, and I may be showing my age or my gender or something here, but almost everything that I have seen in games is about shooting, killing, and I just not interested. I don't want to go there. And in fact, I sort of believe that that's not a great place for children to go either. So,
can I touch on that?
Yes, please.
So, more popular games will be more in the media and more, shown. So, there are a plethora of games that are not involved with violence in any way, shape, or form. But the unfortunate reality is that these games are the more popular ones, and to be honest with you, the majority of the audience that are playing these games are adults, right? It's people from the 80s, that grew up playing video games in arcades.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That have everyone has that nostalgia kind of vibe, right? From the 80s, or at least my era of growing up in the 80s, that they there's memories that they really enjoyed in the 80s playing video games and stuff, and they want to play these games, right? And with the graphics becoming more realistic and the action, they evolve into these kind of shooting games, right? So, but yeah, there are a ton of games that are not violent games, and I've seen it firsthand that and it's not down that particular path. I mean, we live in an era that online gaming or gaming in itself is a large thing in life, right? Growing up. So, but yeah, I mean, the media is going to be showing the ones that are more popular, and the reality is that these popular games are these shooting-based, first-person perspective type of games, right? So it's just what you're seeing in the media that gives you that perception, I'm imagining. So, but like Vivek was saying, like that kind of Tetris type of game, there's tons of those, and there's tons of virtual reality games. Just the other day, I saw someone play Hand Simulator. Hand Simulator. I was like, so they're playing with a mouse, like a computer mouse, and they're simulating his hand. playing chess. So I mean, there's no
Wow.
I don't know, the irony. Just I didn't comprehend. It's like playing a
That-
hand simulator video game to play chess, right? So
That hand simulator that chess game is just one of many, many things in there that you do where you use the hand to do something on the screen that you would normally do in real life, where
Yes.
you have to use the hand to do I mean, and it's personal choice too, because you can do everything from loading a revolver, which means working the dexterity, picking up pennies off of a desk, trying to deal cards, doing the chess piece, washing dishes. There's just all kinds of stuff in there on that hand simulator. There's another one called tabletop board games where you can play everything from poker to D&D.
D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's one very laid back one that is very popular on Twitch and draws a good audience is Subnautica.
Now, what's that?
You're stranded on a planet that you were coming to colonize, and you're the only person left alive in a life pod, and you have to build a living environment and survive. So you have to breathe. And the thing about it is your life pod, all it is your life pod. You have to go underwater and collect, because it's a water planet predominantly. So you have to go underwater and collect minerals and do repairs to your life pod. Then you have to build air tanks and habitats and just on and on and on. And then there's all this stuff that's on this underwater that some of it's friendly, some of it's very not friendly and will eat you.
So that sounds a little bit like Minecraft.
A lot better graphics.
Okay.
Minecraft requires some overlay packs to go in.
And for anybody,
it's rather pixelated for Minecraft.
Yeah. So
But
for
Minecraft's all over Twitch too.
Yeah, well, Minecraft is what all the really young children are working on. My walking partner's grandchildren are building whole cities using Minecraft. Yeah.
Well,
My
I think
son
this-
has actually built chandeliers and flushing toilets and
I think that one of the things to remember online is you can find anything you want. So if you're like, if you find that watching somebody paint a picture is like watching paint dry, then go find something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at games. I mean, we're in the process of moving back to look after Laura Lee's parents. They're getting at that age where they're starting to forget things. And I personally believe it's because they sit around all day. They're not as engaged in life as they used to be. So I'm looking at how I can find maybe some free Microsoft games, whether it's search and find the object in the picture or solve the word puzzle or crosswords or whatever, that they can sit in their chair with their tablet and keep their mind busy.
Yes.
So I think you can find anything you want. And I'm sure Twitch is the same.
yes, it is very much like that. The one thing I do want to mention though, that I don't remember who in the discussion so far mentioned that you could even find porn, and no, you cannot. They are very adamant, and for whatever reason, Bill's hot screen to me.
Well, it was me that said it. I saw some things that I thought were somewhat distasteful, shall I say it that way?
There has been some questionable content that Twitch just revised their policies, and they've already started swinging the ban hammer as of this morning.
That's a good thing to know.
There are female gamers that will be playing their video games in something provocative to attract attention,
Yes.
to attract an audience. Because
There's actually a name for those.
Sorry, hold on, Tim. Sorry. There's one of the ways you play video games on Twitch is that you share your screen playing the games, and then you have yourself, just like what we have here in our little box, with the exception of a green screen behind you. So you could see the actual person playing the game and the game in itself. And the people playing the game, these females are playing the games, they're wearing, provocative outfits to attract the attention.
Yeah.
So that's the allure of what people are watching. So I actually have a business question about Twitch, if anyone can answer this. I actually asked it in the VCP plugin, but maybe I'll just ask it here. And if someone wanted to get started with a Twitch channel, but a business related one, because essentially Twitch is just another source to address the audience, right? So there you go. So what are the categories? So I asked two. So what are the categories of these painting and art channels listed under? And then also, if someone wanted to start a Twitch channel for business, what are the primary steps? To kind of follow up with that, what are the categories that you would nest your channel under?
We covered that just a little bit last week, and so that was my first question too, Jay. So go ahead, Tim.
That's something that it bears reinforcing and repeating, because there are so many categories. And they are growing. Since Amazon bought Twitch, they're slowly adding categories and expanding. They're dividing up things like in real life into more separate. They opened a talk show area where you can do things like this, like we're doing here, or you can do the talking head type things like some of the news programs where there's only one newscaster type deal or whatever that we're
Is that nested under the IRLs, or is that?
No, it's actually a separate, it's a top level category now called talk shows.
Yeah.
They're talk about adding things like a separate cooking environment. They're talking about adding a separate fashion environment. In the creative community, we've kind of sort of created our own areas nested under creative for digital art and the type of digital art you're doing and stuff like that, as well as fan art and various things like that. So yeah, there are top level categories that you can use as a business. At this point, I would use in real life selectively and maybe look seriously at the talk show area until they continue to expand and divide things up, because that way you can do it one of two ways. You can either do a panel of just the two or just yourself, or do instructing and things like that through that channel, because when it comes to talk shows, people expect this type of environment, whether it's just one person or multiple people. And just like when they go to their TV or their cables or whatever, they'll do the same thing on Twitch.
So, Heidi and Gina, maybe we should start a new channel on Twitch called Embrace Aging. Wouldn't that be a paradox?
Yeah, that would be great. I have already a channel on my name, I think, but I never really used it. But we could talk about that together and do that. Why not?
And the thing about it is, as you refine what you're doing there on Twitch, every 60 days, and I would not recommend this, doing it every 60 days, but every 60 days, you're allowed to adjust your name as a username and channel name.
Ah.
So you might start out with it one thing and find out that you fit better under a different name for what you're doing on Twitch. You can then refine that name, and everybody that was following you under the old name stays following you under the new name.
Oh.
So unlike some other platforms where if you change your name, you lose your followers and start from zero, that does not happen on the Twitch platform.
Oh. So you join as a person, I suppose, or as a business if you wanted to. But Jay, your terminology was, what about a channel? So do individuals create a channel, Tim?
Yeah, I'm just going to share this if you don't mind. This is also from Jay. And Tim talked about switching names, but Jay is asking, can you switch categories for your Twitch channel?
Yes, a very definitive yes. I am primarily a creative, is primarily what I do, but I also game on occasion, and I stream those as well, because I was advised that, yeah, maybe you spend 4 to 6 hours streaming as a creative, but later in the day, we hear your voice as you're gaming with someone else in a group. Stream that too.
Mm.
And the nice thing about it is, and I'll show you that, and I might as well go jump right into the dashboard as a screen share.
Please,
and show you one of the places you can do that as we move into how to deal with videos past and future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, Tim. Mm.
All right. As you can see over here, I'm on Twitch. I'm going to enlarge the screen. Where you're going to go when you go to the original homepage on Twitch is right here after by your name.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to drop down and you're going to go to dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this is. And I'm going to hit F11 so we get more of the screen. All right. Now, right here, as you can see, your stream information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that is where you can change the category as well, and the game category as well, while you're streaming. You can actually, there's a command that you can use, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, that in midstream, you can change from talk show to in real life to gaming to creative and whatever you're doing when you change the activity you're doing on Twitch.
Okay.
So you don't even have to break stream. And one of the things a lot of us do that are comfortable with OBS is we have screens that pop up when we take a break, because we're going to, and we're also going to change categories. We'll change the category during the break and update, and then Twitch will update it as it sends out that you're live to somebody new. Or you can literally stop a stream because you're going to say you're going to take an hour for lunch. Well, your viewers aren't going to want to sit there and watch
an empty
your
chair.
Be right back screen or an empty chair right. for an hour. So you say, okay, we're going to wrap this up now. We'll host so-and-so. So now they got somebody else to watch because you used the host command, but they know you're coming back and you tell them what you're going to do. And then you come in here and you change the category to what you're going to do, what title you're going to use, and what the notification is that pops up when you're live again in case they wandered off to view somebody else. One of the things about Twitch that you need to understand is as you get more comfortable as a Twitch viewer and user streaming, is you may have 4, 5, and 6 tabs open to different streams.
Yes, I noticed that.
And you'll be talking in these different chats and jumping from tab to tab. And they may not even be the same categories. But that's how you change it. So yes, Jay, you can change the channel name every 60 days, but every time you change what you're doing, you can change the group you're in right here where it says game category, as well as in your title. For example, one of the things I do, I picked up from another streamer that I thought was a really great idea, is if I'm streaming creative, I put the little brackets and creative at the beginning. That helps me sort my videos later, and it helps the viewer know that, oh, he's creating. I like to watch him creating, but I don't care for games. So I know he's creating, I'll jump in and watch him. Or if they like the gaming, but they're not crazy about creative, then he's gaming. Okay, I'll go over there.
So,
or whatever little thing you put in brackets there that they follow adamantly. Go ahead.
so I just want to make sure I understand. So basically, you register yourself under a certain category, because I can see up there under your name it says creative.
Yes.
But when you are not streaming yourself, you can choose to stream somebody else.
Yes, it's called a hosting.
Oh, okay. So I heard somebody talking about hosting, and I didn't understand what that meant.
Okay, there are two ways to do a host. And that is done in your chat box command line. You can either type /host and the name of the channel, which leaves everybody on your channel page, but watching the new person. Or if you're done for the day and you want to pass it off to someone, for instance, when I'm doing creative, if I'm going to wrap it up and I don't know if I'm coming back or when I'm coming back, or if I'm going to feel like streaming later, even if I may feel like gaming as an example. So I'll do a creative. When I'm doing a creative and when I finish, if I'm coming back, I'll host a creative. If I'm pretty sure or in doubt that I'm coming back, I'll raid. Because what a raid does is two things. A raid hosts the person you're going to on your channel, for those that aren't interested in leaving your channel, as well as gives the viewers the option to join the raid, and it just literally moves them to the new channel. To where they don't have to worry about the little button that pops up when you host someone to go to channel. It takes them there for you if they joined, so they can greet the new channel that they're visiting and viewing, as well as participate in the chat easily and everything without any extra steps.
Okay, so something else for those of us that are real new. Where I went last night is where it says up on the menu bar where it says browse. That's where I went.
Okay.
So when I went to browse, I just saw a whole lot of things pop. And I gather that when you go to browse, you see whoever is live right now.
Yes, that's basically what's happening.
Yeah. And so, and it shows.
When you go to browse, it goes like this.
Yeah.
And it's whatever communities are live at the current time.
Yeah. So the one on the
there's talk shows right there in the center.
Yeah. The one I went that I didn't understand at all was the one on the extreme right-hand side. It's called Hearthstone.
Ah, that's a table card game, more or less.
Oh, is it? It made no sense to me whatsoever.
You had to have played. Immediately comes to mind's Magic. Jay, maybe you remember some of the others that could be 2 or 5, 10 people playing the card games back and forth.
Okay.
Have you ever played anything like Uno, or remember Snap or Hearts or something like that?
Yes.
Where you had certain cards that were power cards or whatever?
Yeah.
This is a more, help me out with a word here that describes it. It's more higher level of refinement.
More sophisticated?
Yeah, because it it gives you specific power cards to perform specific activities.
Yeah.
Everything from defense to taking the other guy and beating him up so that they lose their cards and you win the game type thing. It's a large area. See, and there's the in real life category.
Oh, yeah. Right. And then the talk shows is right in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Community. See, there's creative right there.
Yes. Yeah.
So this just kind of gives you an idea of what people are viewing and what's going. See, there's one that's music, where you can get people that are creating music or playing music or different things like that.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I did go to music because, of course, I'm interested, and I watched a really young man playing the bass, and he had canned music playing in the back, and he was sitting there playing the bass.
There's a creative that I follow that's actually a professional harpist
Oh,
that
wow.
plays the regular harp,
Uh-huh.
concert harp, as well as paints.
Oh, right.
And she flips back and forth on that's what she does
Yeah.
on her streams,
Yeah.
as well as occasional gaming. There's that Subnautica one I was telling you about.
All right. Okay.
If you like people playing video game basketball, let's see what else. Some varieties here that is not just like there's racing.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, and it might have been the time of day that I was on. I noticed that there were a lot of people, like the text, the comments in the text were all in Chinese or another.
Well, and that's the thing is, you can do things one of two ways. And here, I'll go back to the dashboard and I'll show you. As you can see, several of the people I follow are starting to come on. You notice I'm getting quite a bit of pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things you can do on Twitch is you can set a default language.
Oh, okay.
And you can restrict the chat language even to where if they type something in a language you don't understand, it won't even show up in your chat as a streamer.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So that they have to speak English. There are other streamers that enforce it vocally.
Mm-hmm.
That we're glad you're here. We understand that your native language is more comfortable. Please use English as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As an example.
But it's fabulous to think that again that there's people all over the world using this platform. This is fascinating. I mean, that would be for me. That would be one of the attractions of it.
There's one streamer I watched that is in. There's some streamers I watch that are in England. There are some that are in Spain. There are some in Germany. And there's one that I've actually gamed with from Russia. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's an international community. It really is.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, you've shown all how to where to begin if you want to go in and lurk and see what there is and decide on what categories and who, and of course you can follow. And that's the other piece. Could you? I'm pretty sure you explained this last time, but I probably didn't take it in quite.
Okay, let me go find someone I don't follow so that you can see.
Yeah, so the difference between follow and subscribe and all those things.
Okay. Any channel you go to or community, and that's what's nice about communities and these niche areas within Twitch, is you can follow the community or the category as well as individuals.
Oh yeah, look, there's a follow button for the.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's useful to know.
Okay, and the same thing is, let's see. Trying to, you know what? I'm gonna give you an interesting one here.
And while you're on that screen, I noticed in my screen, I'm following 2 people, or I think I'm following 3 now. The people you follow are the people that are all down the left-hand side.
Right, they're down here. And if you know,
yes,
I'll give you an idea. These are the ones that are online that I follow.
Uh-huh. So when they're, oh yeah, it'll show if they're offline or online. That's right. Yeah.
Just hit the show more and it'll tell you who's not online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Until you run out of people that are not online as well.
And so last evening, I had two names in there, yourself and Eileen Smith, two people that that we all know, and it showed that you were both offline. Yeah.
Right, right. Now I'm going to as of once you followed someone, this is what it'll look like, and I'm going to take you to Fairy Wings.
Oh, cool.
This is, as you can see, she's working on something for jewelry making today.
Right.
And right up here, this is how you know you're following someone. That purple bar that says follow will change to this little green heart. And if you want to know when
up
they
there.
come online and start streaming, there's this little slider bar right here.
Right. And
sometimes it defaults to notifications and you have to turn it on. Sometimes it defaults once you follow to automatically get notifications. So you'll want to double check that and make sure if you want to know whenever they come online that they're online. In fact, if I typed in hello right now to Fairy, one of her moderators, which would be the people with the little green swords by their side.
Now, what do you mean by that?
See the little box right here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
This one's cheers, which means they've donated what Twitch calls bits, and you can see the bits up here. And again, we talked about how you can get bits. You can either purchase them or you can watch the advertisements and they'll give you a certain amount of bits. And then you give those by using this little icon down here, the little diamond in your chat box.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can type the word cheer immediately followed by the number of bits. And those are basically pennies that you give in groups of however many you have or want to buy and give. The third step is third button is subscribe.
Right.
Now, if you're a Twitch Prime or an Amazon Prime user, you get one free subscription to any channel of your choice every month. If you'll notice here, mine in this case says not yet, which means I'm using it for someone and it's not free to use for the next person.
All right.
Now, the thing about the Twitch Prime one is you have to go into that channel that you used it on and give it to them each time if you want to continue using that for that channel for subscribing. If you want to just regularly subscribe now, then you'd click subscribe now. In fact, I've got it. The reason this is here is because I need to renew to Fairy because she has been a great support to me in helping my channel grow and everything. So I
reciprocating. Yeah. So Tim, there's something right beside that's riding up and down. What is that?
This over here.
Yes.
The animation. Okay.
Yes. What is that?
That is part of her overlay. That's actually Fairy riding a rainbow unicorn.
Oh.
Seeing as how we're talking about Twitch and Amazon, can I just share my screen here for a second with a question?
Yeah. But Tim will have to unshare.
No, he's fine. I'll take him over, but he may have to reshare.
Oh.
That's not a problem. I just unshared. Go ahead.
We like his answer to question. I hope it's up on the screen. And he's asking, there used to be a restriction limitation imposed by Amazon Prime. Every Prime member was required to reconnect their account with Twitch every month. Is this still the case, Tim?
No, it is not.
And your screen, you're sharing a Zoom. You're not sharing a screen.
Well,
I mean, you were sharing something different.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Whatever.
But we got the question.
That was the question, and that was the answer.
Yes. Now, when you connect, before it was a partnership with Twitch and Amazon. Now Amazon owns Twitch. So now it's permanently linked unless you go in and unlink it. You have to physically make the separation now once you join it. There's not the constant having to deal with it every month.
was looking at the category talk shows. I was browsing in there, and there's only 20 English talk shows on at the moment, which I think, because I don't know how old that or how new the category is, but
About a
personally, I
month.
think that's pardon me?
About a month.
Okay. So I think that's actually a really great opportunity for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs to kind of just jump in there and start. You know?
Now's the time. Yes.
Yeah,
While it's hot.
Yeah. So I mean, you may have, not too many viewers at the very start, but that gives you a really good opportunity to practice and to get.
Well, the other coin is there's less competition.
Yes.
So it's a smaller pond.
Yeah. And I think you don't need to really jump into do the bits and the avatars and all those other things that I think a lot of people are doing. I think you can grow organically and just have this just raw channel, almost like a YouTube thing, right? Not take part in all of these, because there's a plethora of
it could get distracting. You could get carried away.
That Twitch has, these bits and icons, avatars, all this kind of stuff, right? And I think actually it takes away from the viewing pleasure of Twitch on certain channels, So I think it's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to start a talk show channel, or just jump in there and start doing that. A talk show doesn't always necessarily mean you need to have two people. A talk show could be something where you're discussing a particular topic, and just kind of create a theme around that.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to interrupt one last time because I see we're past the hour and I want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered. Heidi asked a question, said that she was enjoying it, but she wanted to know, can several people moderate a channel and stream from their side?
Okay, if you're going to multi-stream, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can do something like this, or if several people have a channel, you all join in your stream. You would stream this. Like if everybody in this panel right now were on Twitch and we were doing this live on Twitch, you'd have to use some kind of group room if we all wanted to be in the same panel like we are in Zoom.
So why couldn't you just do an OBS and choose to live stream it to Twitch?
Or why couldn't we all just host one person's video at the same time?
Exactly. Now, and that's where I was going with this.
Okay.
Is you could actually set up your channel, set it up as a host, and still talk in your chat. For example, I'll show you here back on my dashboard. You'll see something going on here, and every 10 minutes, I don't know if it'll load, but when I was here earlier, you may have seen where ever so often something popped up here in chat when I was on my dashboard, and it was my bot, my auto bot, which auto texts something, and it was telling me to remember to drink every 10 minutes. Right. So I don't hydrate. A lot of the streamers will put that in there because we get carried away in what we're doing, whether it's creating or gaming or in real lifing or whatever the case may be, that reminds us what you're doing is very attention consuming because you're glancing over to check chat on a regular basis to interact with your viewers. You see that come up. Okay. Yeah. There are some other streamers that actually have audience commands that pop up something that tell them to drink.
Right.
Because you get so involved in what you're doing that even the audience wants you to, hey, take care of yourself so you're here for us next time.
I think that's what
type of community builds grows.
I think that's what was going on with the painter, because he said something to the effect that he got a reminder to eat his soup.
You should have your Autobot voiced like Optimus Prime there, Tim.
That's the thing is you can actually do that. You can set it up to where an alert comes up in a voice of whatever. So yeah, even that is possible, Jay.
So we are past our hour, and we have not even touched.
We didn't even touch videos yet.
We haven't touched videos yet. So, but I feel as though I need to respect people's time. And so I think what I'm going to do now, and I do invite anybody who wants to stick around after we stop streaming, but I think I should stop streaming right now. So if you could all just please mute yourselves while I just end this recording. So hopefully for those who are outside, we'll see you again next week. So here we go.